It's a warm welcome to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Momodo Bailabare. Coming up tonight, Talinding's annual Quran recitation strengthens community unity and prayers. AFCON GSM official partner presents 7 million to National Coordinating Committee. Sukuta Sports Committee ends 2-day coaching course for 26 participants. On the international news, Indonesia, 1,700 Rohingya refugees arrives in Aceh since November. Ecuador declares state of emergency curfew after drug lord escapes prison. This and many more in just a moment. To the news in details now, the community of Talinding recently held their annual Quran recitation event at the Central Mosque, bringing together Islamic scholars from various communities in the Greater Banjul area. The purpose of this event is to offer prayers for the residents of Talinding, the country as a whole, and the world at large. More in this report by Modiel Baji.
The Talinding annual Quranic recitation dates back to 2009 with the support of the former Lord Mayor Yankuba Koli. The event yearly brings together imams within Talinding and its neighboring communities. The Imam Ratib of Talinding, Abubakar Jame, said since they commenced the annual recitation in 2009, they embarked on a Quranic recitation to pray for the people of Talinding, the country and the world at large.
All we do annually is to pray for the people of Talinding, the country, the fallen souls, and the world at large to have peace and stability.
The chairman of the organizing committee, Momodu Suare, sees the opportunity to thank those who have chipped in their tokens towards the success of this year's Quranic recitation.
I want to take this opportunity to thank anyone who has contributed to the success of the event and pray that the Almighty reward them for their efforts.
The Alcalo of Talinding, Pa Famara Baji, said their vision is to make sure that the annual recitation of the Holy Quran continues. He also expressed gratitude to the people, especially the organizing committee, for the job well done.
We have prayed for the youths and all sundry. This is a good move because all we want is unity in the country. The entire community is contributed to the success of this event, including those in the diaspora.
However, Alkali Baji appealed to the government of the Gambia, philanthropists, NGOs to support their community with potable drinking water, which he said has continued to be a nightmare to the people of Talinding.
في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد.
For Star TV, I am Modu El Baji.
In a significant stride towards elevating the highly anticipated Africa Cup of Nations AFCON experience, the Gambia Football Federation, Ministry of Youth and Sports, and QCell has united in a groundbreaking signing ceremony officially declaring one of the leading GSM companies as the official partner for the prestigious tournament. The occasion was also witnessed the presentation of $7 million to the National Coordinating Committee, the NCC. Our son was there and see file in this report.
This strategic alliance set the stage for improved connectivity and heightening engagement throughout the AFCON, establishing a noteworthy precedent in the realm of sports partnership. The collaboration aims to provide a thrilling and seamless experience for fans, players, and stakeholders alike. Mohamed Jah, chairman of the Q Group, emphasized the significance of public support for the national team, not just in financial terms but also morally, to propel the national football team to new heights. Jah set light on the journey of securing the sponsorship and expressed his pride in this landmark accomplishment.
Just like every time they go out to look for sponsorship, it was done fairly. Bids were opened fairly, and we won the bid as the GSM operator. Our bid, total bid, came to $20,250,000 with a cash prize of $7 million. But I've told the NCC when we met on Friday that this is just a start. We don't see ourselves as another party. From Friday, we see ourselves now as part of NCC, as part of the body which wants to bring the cup back to Gambia. And whatever we can do within our means to have that project successful, we will do it.
For QCell, reflecting on his vision of establishing Q City, he envisioned nurturing players capable of leading Gambia's qualification to the World Cup, enabling them to compete on par with other countries. Jah commended the Gambia Football Federation and the Ministry of Youth and Sports for their tremendous efforts in developing football in the country. Lamin Kaba Bajo, president of the Gambia Football Federation, expressed optimism about the future of sport in collaboration with the private sector, as such collaborations will ensure the national team's uninterrupted participation in major competitions. He warmly welcomed the partnership with QCell and appealed to the government to prioritize football and sports as areas worthy of investment. Bajo assured the audience that the coach and his team are fully prepared for the forthcoming games. Bakari White.
It's no more street game. It's not just for exercise. It's not just for fun. It's a business, and a very big business for that matter. If you look at the budget of FIFA, it's in billions. If you look at the budget of CAF, as small as it is, it's in hundreds of millions. If you look at the budget of the GFF, that we are always fighting and quarreling, trying to explain why is all that money is going. Because if you say Gambia, oh, GFF receives $100 million a year, that's a lot of money. But the permanent secretary knows, through the sports council, every match that we play outside, what's the budget, the average? We're talking about nearly $20 million average for us to play a match. So how many matches do we play? This is for only the senior national team. You don't talk about the other categories. We recently had our young people went to the AFCON, they went to the World Cup. You know the budget. So I'm just giving an example. It's expensive, but it's very rewarding also. And today's partnership, this ceremony to sign the partnership with QCell is very encouraging. It has really given us a lot of relief and assurance that the future of funding of our sports and football in particular, especially preparation to such major organizations, really there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel.
Baji, Minister of Youth and Sports, underscored the importance and advantages of football in the Gambia, calling upon other private sectors and titles to follow QCell's exceptional example by supporting their own for the progress and development of sports.
In the stadium, when football is taking place, we see how much activities happen in terms of the number of drivers that make money from the activities of taking people from Westfield, from Brikama to stadium. We see how many men and women come to the stadium to sell food for people to buy. We see the activities of the security that happens around there and how much it brings. But most importantly, we see the unification of Gambians without no political consideration, no tribal consideration, but each one of us representing the red, white, blue, white, green that we all stand for. And I think that is the essence. I think that is the essence that we all want to see investment in sports. And like I said the other day, I don't see anything in this country, be it activity in politics, be it economic activities, that unites Gambians more than football. You can never find it.
At the end of the ceremony, the chairman of QCell took the opportunity to present $7 million to the National Coordinating Committee for the AFCON and an additional cash prize of $100,000 to the national team's fan club, symbolizing QCell's commitment to supporting the tournament and engaging with passionate fans throughout the journey. This monumental signing ceremony solidifies QCell's senior boss role as the official GSM partner of AFCON 2023. Awasane for Star TV News.
To sports now, the Sukuta Sports Committee on Tuesday concluded a two-day coaching course. The program was designed for 26 local coaches who oversee school teams, Nawetan and academics at the Sukuta Demba Domini Stadium, led by Marvin, former coach of Charlton Atlantic FC. The training aimed to provide coaches with the necessary tools and knowledge to excel at the grassroots level. Sally Kamara reports.
The goal of the training program is to enhance grassroots football and elevate it to a higher level. An assistant coach and one of the initiators of this coaching course, Seydou Tamba, expressed his aspirations to extend the training beyond Sukuta to benefit the entire country. Tamba underlined the importance of this training and the positive impact it can have on the promotion of football at the grassroots level.
Yeah, initially it was organized by the Sukuta Sports Committee through Parmatar and his team. And yeah, basically I work with Sukuta committee for a while, and then they want to transform the football of Sukuta. They are very modern and very commercial minded, and we all know that coaching is key part of it. So they were designing with other coaches who are a bit tight, other local coaches who are a bit tight, to bring a coaching course into Sukuta. So when I spoke with Marv, when he told me that he's coming this year, I said that to him, why not we organize a coaching course to the local coaches for the things that I benefit, they also can come and learn from it. They'll have the intro level. So
Lamin Sane, the vice president of Sukuta Sport Committee, recognized the need for building the capacity of coaches and expanding their knowledge in football. Sane believes that empowering the participants with global football knowledge will enable them to further develop themselves after the course.
We see the need for capacity building in our football, and we feel that the youth are so much interested in sports in this country and in our community at large. So we feel that there is a need to upgrade them in terms of capacity building. That's why we start to initiate such things like that. This would have been done since last year, but due to the nature of our coming to the power last season as a new committee, so we emerged last season. Since we are so much tense with us, we cannot facilitate that.
Suleiman Babu, a coach with nearly 10 years of experience, stated that this training opportunity is his second chance. According to him, while the boys have inherent skills, they often lack the knowledge required to effectively showcase their talent. He described the coaching course as both important and timely, recognizing its potential to bridge this knowledge gap and empower coaches to unlock the potentials of their players.
That's very important. They're people first. Football is one skill they have, and that if you're good coaches, you'll raise and create good people.
Okay, coach, are there any challenges you face during these 2 days training? If there is any, what are those?
Any challenges? Many. And I tell the coaches, the young coaches, to expect them as well. With challenges, there's always opportunity. So it's a mindset change. When one comes your way, you often can think, what can I do? But if I get a challenge, I dissect it, we talk it out. And also, I actually, I encourage them to know that they have the answers as well. So when I face a challenge, I say, okay, guys, here's a question. What would you do? For example, I had a player coach say to me, oh, Murph, I'm playing football.
Overall, the Sukuta Sport Committee's coaching course aimed to equip local coaches with the necessary skills, knowledge and strategies to enhance grassroots football in Sukuta and potentially across the country. The participants expressed gratitude for the opportunity to expand their coaching abilities and positively impact the development of football at the grassroots level. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Sally Kamara.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is Star TV News, and we are broadcasting from our studio here in Georgetown. We now take a look at news outside the Gambia. The government of Eswatini in South Africa is proposing new laws to legalize the trade of cannabis. Many rural families farm cannabis to make ends meet, but they say high licensing fees will cut them out of the profitable business. Al Jazeera's Fahmida Miller reports from Eswatini, Southern Africa.
Pumzile Gama used to clean houses for a living, earning only $25 a month. Then 20 years ago, she started farming cannabis deep in the mountains in the north of Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland. She now earns 30 times what she used to. That's enough to support herself and her family, including her children and grandchildren. Cannabis is commonly known as Swazi gold. Farming it is illegal, but it's how thousands of people here make a living. They include Pumzile's father before her.
I now have a house and it's farming cannabis that allows me to send my kids to school. But it's becoming difficult to farm these days.
Pumzile wants the government to legalize cannabis farming and provide support. That way, she and other farmers would no longer have to farm in secret and hide from the police. The government has proposed a new law to allow it for research and medicinal use. But a license would cost more than $50,000. and those without it would be fined heavily. Critics say this will only benefit the country's elite and not small-scale farmers. The Cannabis Association says the country's climate is ideal for the plant, and this natural resource is farmed in almost all rural areas.
We want to lobby the new MPs into understanding that there is need to legalize cannabis in Swaziland. Not what we saw in the kind proposal that was sent into Parliament, where we feel it would be exclusive. If you have exorbitant license fees, it means you are excluding the ordinary Swazi who actually lives on cannabis.
Cannabis remains a dangerous business and it's transported undercover.
This is Matapa, south of the capital in Mbabane. It's an industrial town that's used as a transit point for the movement of the cannabis farmed around the country. Now, this is where trucks collect consignments of cannabis and smuggle it into neighboring South Africa.
There's no official data on how much marijuana is farmed in Eswatini, but it's estimated to be worth millions of dollars. And it's part of a global market reported to be valued at nearly $60 billion. While the new laws being discussed in Parliament, farmers are continuing to push for it to be legalized. Pumzile is among them, relying on a trade she knows well to support herself and create jobs in a country where 1 in 4 people don't have work. Famida Miller, Al Jazeera, Eswatini.
More than 1,700 Rohingya refugees have arrived on the shores of Aceh in Indonesia since mid-November, the largest influx since 2015. Authorities say it is increasingly difficult to accommodate them because of growing hostility from local residents. Al Jazeera's Jessica Washington reports from Banda, Indonesia.
This car park in Banda Aceh is dark and dusty, but it provides at least some semblance of a home for this group of 137 Rohingya refugees.
We are helpless. Our country, land and home were taken from us. Then we came here to seek peace, as we have experienced nothing but pain all our lives.
For years, Rohingya have fled persecution and mass killings by Myanmar's security forces for nearby Bangladesh. But overcrowding in camps, cuts to funding and an increase in violence there has prompted thousands to flee again in recent years, travelling by boat to Southeast Asia. Ramakdo says she was tortured in Myanmar and her husband was murdered by an armed gang in Bangladesh. But she doesn't feel safe here either. In December, university students stormed the car park, demanding the deportation of the refugees and forcing the group made up mostly of women and children out of their shelter and onto trucks.
When they attacked us, I was scared that they might kill my children. We are already victims of torture.
Rohingya have travelled by boat to Aceh for years and had long been tolerated and often even welcomed by the local community. But some social media posts accuse the refugees of spreading disease and others say they have come to take over Aceh. Some residents have expressed anger at the Rohingya for taking up resources which they see as theirs. That's despite the fact that the money for their food, medicine and other essentials doesn't come from the Indonesian government or even the local government here in Aceh. The UN Refugee Agency is responsible for bearing these costs and says a coordinated online campaign of misinformation, disinformation and hate is responsible for the growing hostility.
Of course, this hatred doesn't just happen. We suspect there are people framing the misinformation that abounds on social media. It doesn't happen by itself.
Local authorities acknowledge the spread of hatred towards the Rohingya, but say they don't know who is behind it.
The Aceh government's been trying to provide temporary shelter, but in many places that were thinking of putting them, the local people rejected them, so are asking for them to be taken out of Aceh.
This car park is far from an ideal place to live, and Ramakdo says she spends all her time worrying about where they may have to go next. She says her life has been in ruins since the day she was born, and her only dream is for her children to be safe and happy. Jessica Washington, Al Jazeera, Banda Aceh, Indonesia.
Finally, the president of Ecuador has declared a state of emergency after a notorious gang leader escaped from prison on Sunday. Police have launched a manhunt for Jose Adolfo Macias. He was serving 34 years sentence for drug trafficking and murder. Al Jazeera's Alessandro reports.
This is José Adolfo Macías, better known as Fito, the leader of the powerful Los Choneros gang in Ecuador. He was serving a long sentence for murder, drug trafficking and organized crime in this maximum security prison in the port city of Guayaquil. But on Sunday, when soldiers raided the center as part of a government crackdown, authorities said he was nowhere to be found. The government launched a major operation to recapture him, so far with no results.
In an operation involving more than 3,000 people, the prison has been raided in search of the most wanted prisoner, and the operation continues.
A notorious criminal suspected of having played a role in the assassination of presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio last year, Fito has often defied authorities. He has escaped prison before and recently appeared in this music video, partly filmed inside the jail and sung by his daughter, glorifying his criminal exploits. Following Fito's escape, incidents have been reported in several prisons across the country. Inmates were seen standing on roofs as they held prison guards hostage inside, threatening them with knives.
Mr. President, please reconsider your decisions. Don't let yourself be driven by impulses and false expectations.
This is the first major prison crisis for the recently elected President Daniel Noboa, a Banana Empire heir with little political experience who took over in November, promising to reduce violence. On Monday, he announced a 2-month state of emergency.
What we are seeing in the country's prisons is the result of our decision to confront them. That is why the government has taken actions that will allow us to regain control of the prisons that have been lost in recent years.
But some analysts say the president's plan is failing.
It seems like they are facing the crisis repeating the same recipe of the previous government. It has been proven that declaring the state of emergency is not an efficient way to contain crime. Homicides keep growing in Ecuador, and there is a risk that we will remain the most violent country in Latin America in 2024.
In recent years, Ecuador has been living through an unprecedented security crisis fueled by drug trafficking and that authorities have failed to address. These latest developments seem to suggest more troubles ahead. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera.
That story by Alessandro brings us to the end of this edition of news, but before we go, the main points again. Talinding's annual Quran recitation strengthens community unity and prayers. AFCON GSM official partner presents 7 million to National Coordinating Committee. Sukuta Sports Committee ends 2-day coaching course for 26 participants. On the international news, Indonesia, 1,700 Rohingya refugees arrives in Aceh since November. Ecuador declares state of emergency curfew after drug lord escapes prison. Well, that's all for this edition of today's news. Thank you very much for watching. Do stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Until then, have a very good night.